Viewers, listeners from all over the world, welcome to the analysis of the poem. And today I have the poem that is called Double Beating, and this poem was written by Richard Mabala. May you pay attention to listen to the poem. My neighbors gather round, listen to my cry, and tell me please, when the hammer pounds the nail, and the nail bites mercilessly into the wood, who is the wood to blame? You saw, today my husband beat me till the blood spurted to the ground. Only then did you, my neighbors, rush in to separate us. My fault. I only asked him so meekly, I assure you, whether at last he had brought home the cotton money. Haven't we all waited 3 months to be paid? 3 months without washing my kanga? In case it's threadbare shell crumbles to nothingness. 3 months of hiding the children from school because my daughter's skirt is now too short to cover her budding youth. 3 months of faltering hope and money spent in dreams. Today, you know it, my neighbors, weren't we promised? And so when B, my husband, strode through the door, I only asked, I was so foolish. I failed to see the telltale bitter lines around the mouth, and the brow furrowed in frustration. Innocent question punished, for only I could relieve his pain. Only if could lance the throbbing boil of resentment. Blindly he hit me, eyes closed, releasing the squashed anger within his breast, muttering oaths against the world that had wronged him. Still no kanga, no uniforms. Come again next week. That was how it was, my neighbors. But tell me, please, when the hammer pounds the nail bites into the wood, who is the wood to blame? Viewers and listeners, having heard the poem Double Beating by Richard S. Mabala, now let us look at the introduction of this poem. This poem is about a woman who is complaining or fretting about her husband who has beaten her simply because she has asked whether her husband has received and brought cotton money. After being asked about cotton money, the husband beats his wife because he hasn't been paid. He transfers his anger towards his wife. Dear viewers, dear students, having heard the introduction of the poem Double Beating by Richard S. Mabala, now let us look at the themes from the poem. The first theme is male chauvinism. In Swahili we call it mfumo dume. And this is a belief that men are superior to women. In this poem, women have no access to money they or their husbands have got from laboring together. And when women ask about those money, they are beaten. Listen to how the persona says, my fault? I only asked him so meekly, I assure you, whether at last he had brought home the cotton money. Dear viewers and dear listeners, apart from male chauvinism, another theme is wife beating. In some cultures in Africa, it's a normal thing for a man to beat a wife because wives are considered properties owned by men or husbands. In this poem, the persona is blaming because she is beaten by her husband simply because she has asked about whether he has been paid the cotton money by the company or government. The persona says, my husband beat me till the blood spurted. Listeners, another theme is exploitation. Peasants are exploited by the systems like companies that buy their produce. The companies take quite a long time before paying them, hence those peasants fail to afford their basic needs. The persona says, "Haven't we all waited 3 months to be paid? 3 months without washing my kanga." Listeners, those words or those verses show how it takes a long time before farmers or peasants are being paid their money after selling their products. Another theme is poverty. The persona is poor because their family aren't paid well by those who buy their cotton. Due to poverty, they fail to send their children to school because no uniforms. Listeners and students, apart from themes, let us now look at the message. The first message we get from this poem is, poverty is the biggest hindrance to development. Poverty is the biggest hindrance to development. The second message is, peasants should be given their payments or rights early. Peasants should be given their payments or rights early. The third message is, women have to be respected. They should not be beaten like cows. Women have to be respected. They should not be beaten like cows. Apart from this, dear students, let us now look at the type of poem. This poem is a narrative. It narrates a story of a woman and how she is in conflict with her husband. Dear learners, let us now look about the persona. Let us talk a little bit about the persona. Who is the persona in this poem? The persona is a woman who is beaten by her husband. The persona is a woman who is beaten by her husband. Now, what does double beating mean according to the poem? What does double beating means according to the poem? Okay, double beating means that women suffer twice. They are humiliated by the companies by not paying them as is required. And second, women suffer under the system of male chauvinism, where only husbands are considered to be superior. Women are tortured and beaten by husbands. So, women suffer double beating. Dear learners, let us finally look at the language used in this poem. And here we are going to look at three symbols discussed in this poem. Symbols or symbolism. The first symbol used in this poem is hammer. Hammer symbolizes the system or companies that torture both men and the women after selling their crops. The hammer, which is also the system, does not pay the peasants or the farmers as is required. Another symbol is nail. Nail symbolizes men or husbands. When men are not paid early or not paid by the hammer or by the system, they shift their anger towards their wives. Another symbol is wood. Wood symbolizes women or wives. These wives or woods are humiliated by both the hammer and the nail. Those are three symbols, ladies and gentlemen, discussed in this poem. Now, apart from symbolism, there is also rhetorical question. Rhetorical question can be seen in this poem, like, my fault? Or who is the who to blame? Of course, these questions do not need answers. They are there for rhetorical reasons. And the last thing about the language is enjambment, whereby sentences do not come to the end, but rather run over to the next line. Sentences like, and tell me please. This is not complete. It is completed in the second verse. And tell me please, when the hammer pounds the nail. And of course here it also doesn't end. It lands over to the following line. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to this analysis. If you have anything you would like to share with us, just write down on the comment section below so that you may discuss with others. Ciao.